All right. Welcome back to another Tripping with the Smiths video. And today we're talking about this thing here, sitting here at the desk in the HDT. I'm just going to carry it away first.
So one of the modifications that we've been talking about and is widely talked about in the HTT world is a table in the back of a truck that doesn't have one. It's highly coveted to get a truck that already has a table installed. And if you don't, then there's some options. The primary option that people discuss is putting in a table from another HDT that came with one. Those are kind of hard to come by. And in truth, having had one to look at and attempt to install, I like the way this installs better. So we came across an opportunity to buy a full table to go along with the bumper that we bought. We got a nice alley arc herd bumper on the front of the truck now, but we bought this table. In fact, the tabletop is right here, but the hardware didn't fit because it came from a bigger cab truck and it was just too wide to mount, and we didn't have the mounting brackets behind here, which I had hoped were there. So it all went poorly as far as mounting it. So we went ahead and did a little bit of a different install. We used the Cass Hudson Dream Dinette frame and then put this in here, which we'll go over here in a little bit about the install. But we just completed a 3-day, 1,600 mile trip, 1,200 mile trip, 1,200 mile trip. Right? It was supposed to be 1,600, but we cut it down to 1,200 and took a break. But we completed a 3-day trip. And did you sit in the front at all?
I think maybe once or twice for when we first started the trip, but most of the time I sit back here.
Yeah, so Candace does a lot of work online, and that requires time and computer, and the front seat just really isn't that comfortable to use a computer, especially trying to use an external mouse. It just doesn't work out that well.
Yeah, because that drawer thing you installed was not big enough.
No, that didn't work out at all.
Or slide out, not drawer. But. So
she sat back here almost the entire time, and give us your thoughts, Candace. What do you think?
It's a nice addition. It's comfortable. I was able to get a good amount of work done. I'm able to use 2 monitors, which I love to do when I'm working. So I don't have to just be stuck to one screen. And probably could do 3, but I use my iPad, and I'm an Apple user, so I can use my iPad as an external monitor. So there's enough room for that. Long story short, it's great. It's nice. I haven't put it down yet to see what it would be like to use it as maybe like a couch or lounge or lay down on it yet. So I'll have to report back on that. But yeah, it's a nice addition. So what was I going to say?
I don't know. Oh, this table came from a 770, which is a little bit bigger cab. The seat cushions came from a 770, which is a little bit bigger cab than what we have in this truck. This truck's a 660, but I was able to modify it a little bit. And one of the reasons why I was able to go bigger is because our cab, when we bought the truck, didn't have the lower cabinets installed. They'd all been removed already. So it gives us a little bit more room. And this installed pretty well. It actually worked out. Well, you'll see a little bit of perspective from the front seat in the rest of the video and see how it actually looks back here. Man, I don't think I have anything else.
I think that's it. That's a nice ad. You work on the road, you work location independent, and put yourself one of these in there.
Yeah, it makes a long day much better for the passenger.
Yes, it does. Thank you, babe. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, so we've put the trim back up. Started working on this. We're modifying this box a little bit. We're taking out this metal piece, which should just bend up out of here now that I've removed the 4 bolts. I cut the carpet out of there. So we'll go ahead and do this, and we'll see about getting the table station installed. All right, so taking that out took a little bit more work than anticipated. It was welded in there pretty good. You can see that I've cut that back strip and bent it down so that it's out of the way for mounting the actual table, and we now have a pass-through space there so that we can get the table up and down. Once I get the table in here, we'll see if there's some way to finish that up and make it look a little bit nicer back there besides just throwing carpet underneath it. This is my table support that I'm going to put on there and then put the actual tabletop on top of it. Got the notches cut out in the back and the corners kind of edged off so that the table can fit there. And now I'm going to go ahead and mount the frame. So I've taken the trim, the padding back down again to give us a mounting point behind here. I didn't want to put the boards in front of the padding. in the trim because I think it would be kind of tacky looking. So I'm going to mount these back here in this cavity, and then I'm going to have to cut some of this insulation out that's on the back of the trim so that it fits, and then that'll give me a nice solid mounting point. I just got to bang them in there and actually mount them to the truck itself right now, but that'll give us a nice mounting point that allows us to keep the sleeper trim nice and clean. So that's what I'm going to do next. So we have our wood in place. I had a piece of steel that I wasn't going to use, so I put it across the top there to kind of hold those boards from flexing out. I think when it's all done, it'll be pretty sturdy. And on the back side of the sleeper trim, I went ahead and cut a chunk off of the foam so that would accommodate those boards and should give us a nice clean area to drill into and mount this table. So this is what the underside of the table looks like. I use a piece of plywood underneath the stock Volvo table that I'm going to put in there. It may have to change later, but I think it'll work for now. And it's ready to go into the truck and then mount it on the wall. So that's what we're doing right now. All right, so after a little bit of trials and tribulation, we have the table installed and it goes up and down like it's supposed to. I thought I had the right hole saw to cut out the drink holders, and I don't. And when I bought that organizer, I bought a second one that's supposed to fill up that other space there. That's why the table's extended out there. And the other organizer was not a true 6 inches. It was more like 4 inches, so I've got to buy another one. But that organizer is going to be velcroed there so that it is removable, so that we can pop it up and pop it down when we need to use the bed. One of the ways I was able to go a little bit bigger on the table and the bed that I'm putting in here and use the bed cushions from a bigger semi is that I don't have any of the cabinetry in here in the bottom. So I'm extending this out a little bit. I'm going to cut the original bed frame and add to it so that we have a full, basically a full bed, the same size dinette and bed that goes in a big cab 770. But this is part of it. And we're moving. So this is what the final product looks like. We were able to extend our benches out a little bit because we have no cabinets in our truck and behind the seats like most trucks do. This is a 660, by the way. It's a little bit smaller cab. And we got the organizers back there. And the cup holder cutouts are out because the Yeti cup that the wife uses, actually the cup holder inserts are out because the Yeti cup the wife uses don't fit in the inserts, but it fits in the cutouts. And reach down here, flip the switch, push the table down. If we took the cushions up, it'd go all the way down, and then you can lay the cushions out. The wife, in the last 3-day trip that we took, we spent quite a bit of time in the truck, and she did not switch it to the bed at all. She was happy with the table. Much easier to work on the computer, so it looks like it worked out really well for us. And that is what it looks like with the cup holders. So those cushions are from a 770, a little bit bigger cab than this. That table is also from a 770, and I extended it out a little bit with a piece of plywood under it to match the cushions and give a little bit more room and allow us to have the organizers back there. Those are removable, so if we do want to use it as a bed, we just pop them out and set them somewhere else. And if you look down here, you can see where we took out the pass-through for that bar, but that's really all we did. I said a pass-through, but we took out that metal plate there, put some carpet down. You can still use it partially as a pass-through, as you can see. And I just lost my train of thought thinking, what the heck is sitting over there on that side? That pole. It's kind of messy back there. We just completed a long trip. So anyways, you can still use it for storage. You just need to have room for the table stand. And that's what we ended up looking like. I wasn't able to get the wood that I wanted to make the seats exactly how I wanted them because of time limitations, and the hardware stores near us didn't have the saws to cut down a full sheet of plywood, so I made do with what they had. I will probably modify those seats later on to make it a little bit prettier, but this is what it is right now. It's just a piece of plywood put on the original seat base, which is cut there. I'll probably replace all that at some point, but I needed to get on the road and I wanted to see how it looked. So this is what we did. It's a little bit MacGyvered, but not completely. One thing I did note about this, once you cut that bed support in half, the single hinge on each side kind of makes it not work out real well for lifting the platform up. You can't put the struts on it, or that just, you know, puts it way off kilter and doesn't make it come up nicely. So if you're doing this, keep that in mind. You'll have to do some other solution for assisted lift on your platforms. But I don't really think that I'm going to use it very much inside the truck. I always just use the jockey box on the outside. So this is version 1. Version 2 will come with a better designed seat platform, but this works out really well for right now. This view is just so you can kind of get an idea of the cab. So this is a driver's seat in the position that I normally sit in, and you see the amount of room back there. Again, we're able to get the bigger seats because we don't have the floor mounted cabinets in this truck, but this is like the kind of the perspective from the front, so it doesn't take up too terribly much room, but it works out really well for us. My wife really liked having that back there. You can see that we use the upper bunk for storage. We got to figure out what to do with those stand-up paddle boards that want to come forward because they hang over. And unfortunately, I got to get a new light there because I broke it while I was stacking stuff up there. But this is the way we have set up our truck right now for long travel days. And one of these days, we're going to get that coffee pot set up there and some water and actually be able to make coffee while we're on the road. But right now, it's still storage. We haven't made it that far, even though we've had the truck for quite a while. It's just not been a priority because we like to stop every 3 or 4 hours anyways, so it's not a big deal to get coffee.
Okay. All right. Thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about the install, if Jeff didn't cover it in the video, and then reach on out, drop us some comments, and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and we'll see you in the next video.